Hello YouTubers, just to subscribe and thank you for watching this YouTube video. So everybody seems to think that Elon Musk is a great guy, and I have my reservations about him. I think he's a Trojan horse, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I think everything he does is bad. It isn't. I have some faith in the electrical um, market for cars, even though many people are very quick to criticise and to say this could never work. Well, they would say about that about planes of the past. They would say that about cars of the past that would, had flammable fuel within it. And nowadays they're saying it about cars that are run by batteries. Now, all cars are actually run by batteries, believe it or not. Even though you may think they're not, if the battery of your car goes, your car stops. Now think about that as the 12 volts. Is it 12 or 24 volts that a car has? But they do have a battery in it. And what tends to happen is when you put petrol in it, or gas or oil, whatever you call it, in your part of the world, um, the how the motor works, it actually charges the battery up. Now the difference here is the charging point. So these batteries have to hold on to more power basically because they have to go further. You're not actually getting something that's generating power as it's moving, and that's the main difference. So because of that, the power source is electrical completely, and then that means that more energy has to go into those batteries, and that's where people seem to have the issue with it. It's not with batteries itself. I mean, every single car has a battery. That's one thing that many people don't seem to um, want to admit. Your car has a battery, whether it's made of petrol or a Tesla or whatever, it still has a battery. So battery operated things are not bad. Now, here's the thing. They have improved these battery operated cars tremendously. They are improving all the time. And many of the things that are being shown online about cars exploding and burning on a ship, etc., is taken out of context, or it's complete lies. I mean, many of these are old vehicles and couldn't possibly be um, battery operated cars. That I mean, they couldn't be possibly be Tesla like cars. They're obviously petrol run, or electrical cars. That's probably a better way to explain them. So electrical cars do have a future, and if you look at the past, in the 80s and 90s, right, especially in the late 80s, there was a lot of smog and dust in the air because of cars. They were releasing not only carbon dioxide and monoxide, but they were also releasing dust and smut into the air, and that was horrible. Breathing out around places. I mean, you have to cover your face with something to breathe properly. It was just awful back then with that, and the green movement had some good points that it actually prevented this later on, and people were criticising it back then. They were saying, "Oh, this is a bad idea," just let cars run like the way they are supposed to. But people said no, and they did this. They changed the vehicles, so they went from diesel, which is actually a pretty good fuel, to unleaded, and it made a big difference because now car fumes are only breathing out through the exhaust carbon dioxide mostly, maybe a bit of carbon monoxide, which can be taken up by plants and reused. And that's a good thing, even if people say, well, it's not 100% effective. Well, so what? It's making a difference. I mean, it's not too bad. And I believe that in a few years' time, in a not too distant future, when all cars are turned into batteries, they may be better. Now, the thing is, it does put a problem with the cost for people. Right? People, bought brand new cars and they haven't got money that's growing on trees. What happens to them? Well, I do believe that petrol still needs to be around for a long time to come. Maybe at least 15 more years, maybe 20. Um, So maybe in the future, they can get rid of cars, petrol operated cars completely and run on battery power, solar power, or something. I don't know what exactly how they're going to work this. Although solar power doesn't actually create too much energy in the UK, so it may not actually even be that good. But it is something that you guys will be experiencing in the future. Don't think it's all going to be bad. Don't believe everything you hear online, because you are often lied to by many people online about certain things. They post a picture of something and people believe everything they hear. Uh, I also don't think that scooters are that bad. I believe they have a place. If somebody hasn't got a lot of money, or they're young, or even older, they can't get a car because they have some type of disability or whatnot, I don't judge them if they're riding a scooter. In fact, I think some scooters are kind of cool. And people say, well, it's not like the old days when people ride motorbikes. Well, it depends what type of scooter you got. Some of the scooters go over 80 miles per hour. I mean, would you dare ride one of those? I mean, they'll kill you. They're very dangerous, and you're not sitting on the job like you're doing on a motorcycle. You have to keep your own balance. So maybe you could say it's more manly than riding a motorbike. Although motorbikes are bigger and they can handle more speed, but a scooter can. Some of these high performance scooters are extremely fast and dangerous, which is a good thing if you're a man. So yeah, I mean, it's something for you guys to think about. It's not all bad. Don't think that electrical cars are going to be bad, and don't think that scooters are all bad. Scooters are cool. I have to say, scooters are cool. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.